H2O is a movement of community data scientists over the last 10 years. We identified key missing links. And our core vision was how do you build software from science, right? So data is the new code. We are home to 28 Kaggle Grandmasters, several of them former number ones, probably more former number ones than any other institution or organization in the world. And these data scientists are continuously, they were my customers to begin with, right? So we identified what they were missing. And we identified what they could do if only they were at not just physically next to one problem, but digitally next to thousands of problems. So our core muse, if you will, is to digitally build what grandmasters do routinely, whether to prevent overfitting or whether to fit the right models, right methods, learn everything passionately about. And I think that's kind of got us to a series of products. One of them, most recently, is document AI. We think documents have become the most fastest growing data sets. And guess what? Documents don't, we saw the data quality dumpster fire in this morning. One thing that is unique about unstructured data, counterintuitively, is that that data is actually has the right group by filter joins, right? If only data was actually parsable. So if you could parse, annotate, label with consistent labeling, ontology, and training, you could actually use documents as a much more high quality source of data, especially if you can get to 98% or 95+% accuracy. So our Kaggle Grandmasters, Mark Landry and others, have been busy building this. And we're rolling it out to several of our customers. UCSF is in production, where cancer patient referrals are not waiting for human touch to be matched to the right doctors, so lives can be saved. Also working with banks on KYC or use cases that are boundless, especially if data is coming from documents. And this beyond traditional OCR, where you can apply pre-trained models and bring them to solve problems of locally on local corpuses. Again, a simple unified interface for labeling, training, and ontology, as well as scoring and understanding the errors and retraining them based on the errors. Another piece that H2O has been relatively busy of late has been trying to democratize beyond kind of the traditional transactional time series data. You're probably familiar with driverless AI and AutoML. AutoML was named after Mark Landry, one of the grandmasters. But I think our latest crop of grandmasters, Philip Singer, led by Philip Singer, Dimitri Goriev, and others, came up with Hydrogen Torch, which tries to democratize how you use deep learning, this tremendous explosion in good deep learning frameworks. But who's to say what's the latest way to use some of these pre-trained models and transfer learn, or who's to say how to use it for different problem sets? So you're trying to do object identification, object detection. You're able to kind of essentially bring a lot of kind of experience to bear, text summarization, text classification. These are the kind of problems that are boundless. You see them everywhere in AI. Again, you can see the ability to kind of truly bring world-class deep learning to be nearly as automatable with simple recipes. And again, train them, retrain them. Creating experiment in deep learning becomes, you can self-select whether you want to be a novice or a skilled or an expert or a master, and then start kind of picking different architectures if you really wanted to pre-built architectures. In very simple, easy framework for solving problems. One of our customers is super keen, and by the way, you're looking at the App Store, which is kind of how you consume AI. There's a lot of talk about making AI, deploying AI, MLOps, but how does one consume AI? And I think that's kind of where, let me just pull up a computer vision problem. Some of our customers are interested in how many trucks of different kinds are running on the road. Post-COVID, all data we had has kind of almost is obsolete. The data pre-COVID is obsolete. And so, like for example, one of our customers is interested in how many trucks of Pepsi are going on the road, or how many trucks of Coke are going on the road, given the new world of traffic. Other customers are interested on the edge to prevent a drone from falling inadvertently while rescuing a home under fire. The App Store is a metaphor for how you consume AI, how you consume applications. And across different verticals, we're beginning to co-create with our customers. That co-creation is where you see more of AI maturity. So you see AI maturity when you're beginning to see that transformation. Festo, one of our customers, co-created a predictive maintenance application that's essentially looking at aircraft engines and trying to kind of monitor them across a whole plethora of sensors and figuring out why. The Shapley values now start showing up as business kind of meaning that you can go and talk to your business users. Behind the scenes, you have AutoML from driverless AI that's predicting that 200 days from now, this engine is likely to fail. We are familiar with driverless AI, but for a lot of first-timers, I'm going to just launch first an AutoML. One of the things we're finding with deep learning is labeling is a problem for deep learning, right? So, and that's kind of where we're seeing a lot more of how do you start building better labeling? Can I use one-shot learning to do labeling? Let me just launch this quickly. How many of you have seen our AutoML before? We have a booth, so maybe later today we can get you access to playing with it. This is trying to predict remaining useful life over a time series data. And I think the net of it is that how do you use genetic algorithms to search through the space of feature engineering, feature generation, through parameter tuning, through different algorithms, mix and match and get them together to find the best solution for your problem. Imagine having hundreds of these models running continuously as the data is drifting. And that's kind of where many of our customers with high maturity of AI have gotten to that place where they're running continuous leaderboards for different problems that business is looking for, and then deploying the model that comes out of it. We auto-generate a lot of the code for traditional Jupyter notebooks that end up becoming software that gets deployed and managed through MLOps. Let me finish the label genie I was talking about earlier. Again, labeling can get better, right? It doesn't have to be the difficult, outsourced, mechanical Turk backend for AI. So one of the things we're beginning to do is to add more and more this is coffee versus car. We just add more and more one-shot learning. So you can start beginning to bring more of that, use AI to reduce the menial problem of AI, which is labeling. And then hopefully over time you can really reduce the time to use. Right? If you want to use AI, you want to have a lot of labeled, annotated data. And so we're beginning to use AI to help annotate. In this particular case, it's annotating out of the box relatively well. So, with that behind us, let me just up-level the topic to where we are headed. BC is before COVID, and I know there's a lot of, if you run a model to predict AI winter, will it happen? The history tells us that it's going to happen. Our goal is to move it beyond 2025, or at least beyond 2030, so you can get relative summer and spring of AI where you can truly demonstrate the value to your businesses. We built some models during COVID, for example, to understand where did Las Vegans, where did they go? So this is actually a model that showed the migration patterns of folks from Vegas. A lot of the low daily wage labor were hit by COVID. They left, right? So there's a lot of, we come here from different parts attending conferences. It's easy to miss that we just came out of an incredible event, universal event. MGM Resorts we have alternative signal looking at whether recovery is back. And you can see the number of jobs at MGM Resorts where we are have gone up. So you know that change is coming in good ways. Slowly but steadily, the economy is recovering. Yes, you see the big, heavy headlines of inflation, but surely, the American economy is coming back to life. We serve 400 of the top 500 companies in the world. And every package that got delivered to you during COVID, I know one of our customers is in the audience, is using AI behind and making sure that each mile saved there is millions of dollars. Our customers like AT&T have saved billions of dollars, quite literally $1.2 billion in iPhone stealing, right? Prevention of iPhone stealing. We've seen customers use AI and feature stores to quickly improve the model's accuracies by learning from other experiments. Commonwealth Bank of Australia, which is one of our leading customers from Australia, has made the next best conversation inside their app completely AI driven and have seen real value week on week. Engagement of your customer, experience of the customer can never be more important than this time. Unilever, Reckitt, Procter & Gamble, these are our FMCG customers looking at supply chain optimization. Supply chain disruption has been dramatic during the last few years. And I think we have a way to kind of truly build demand sensing models that can help us get beyond where the current data is. MasterCard was powering fraud prevention activity, helping Ukraine refugees cross-border. When they cross-border, they're still able to use their MasterCard seamlessly. Some of those models were powered by H2O. These AI has, behind all the horror stories of AI not working for many, our customers have thousands of models in production. And the vision there is that data is the new code, which means that your code produced from data is actually has significantly higher technical debt. One column in your data can actually have significantly different programmatic behavior, right? So functional behavior of your code is very directly tied to quality of data. Data is a team sport. And the best customers of H2O or the best appliers of H2O have historically focused on being able to kind of bring the domain knowledge, the data science, and the applications into a unified framework. And I think it's that teamwork that makes the dream work. When we talk about transformation, it really has to start with the people. The technology has actually almost been commodified, if you will, right? And our job is to democratize that technology to a point it becomes truly commodified. It is the defense of your brand and your communities that we are really after. As large companies, as community-built companies like ours, brand is community. And community building is at the heart of making great companies possible. And that is kind of what we focus on, helping our customers discover their user communities and tap into that and unlock that potential. AI products and data products are going to make a true transformation for our customers. Underlying all of this is this maker culture, right? Sort of data scientists today are the most soft-spoken people on the planet, and they are the makers of AI. They are the ones thinking about data in many, many different directions and dimensions, and it's trying to amplify that voice that we need to kind of build bridges. We're building science software from science. And the way to think about it is we auto-generate code from models. That auto-generated code is one of the most low-power code out there. H2O is lower in power, lower in footprint, and one of the most fastest low-latency scoring engines compared to PyTorch and TensorFlow. So you'll see it embedded in your phones today on cars, preventing collision avoidance, preventing and fraud prevention. Right? Sort of every payment system out there is using our mojos. This is actually live from one of our customers, AT&T. They run a competition for every question that comes through the business, and that competition runs a leaderboard. Both bots, AutoMLs, humans, and data scientists learning from those features to improve upon driverless AI, to improve upon other AutoMLs, to improve upon our open source. They come together as a team to kind of improve the models. From that model, they're building applications with our low-code framework, Wave. Wave is open source. And then deploying Wave and Nitro are low-code frameworks, allowing the Pythonic machine learner to build applications that can scale. The backend is Go, so you can actually deploy thousands of users on these applications. That for every app I demoed in the beginning sequence was made with Wave. That H2O Wave is then allowing you to build your own app stores. Look around us. Every large trillion-dollar company has an app store of its own. Our vision is that a Coca-Cola will have its own app store for AI, serving its merchants. Our vision that everyone will have an app store and build those like continuously learning applications. Pre-built app stores, model stores, and feature stores are going to drive eventually the AI ecosystem. And I would say finally, checking AI, making sure it's responsible is going to be super important. Obviously, there's lots of power use cases across different industries. We touched on some of them today. But we can talk about this for very long. We've looked at much of this data coming from video, audio. In the last few years, we've acquired more data than in unstructured than even in structured. I'm going to fast forward to a couple of really key topics here. We want to make sure we check AI. Most of us have seen Zillow, and validating AI with benchmark of tests is far more valuable, important. So what our AI cloud and other clouds out there are doing is helping you to create that continuously validation framework so you can truly build a very rich ecosystem of tests, ecosystem of deployments, and make sure we get the best AI into your hands. Storytelling is still at the heart of being able to win your argument with all the models you're building. So explainable AI doesn't stop at the Shapley value. Being able to tell powerful stories is going to be super important. I want to leave with an interesting topic on where the future of data science is. The rise of chief data analytics officer, you can call it owning data, AI, and algorithms and applications. That whole rise is happening. I wouldn't be surprised if 90% of Fortune 500 CEOs in 2030 will be data scientists. All this leaves us with a very important responsibility. AI can be a force for good. And we have been getting our hands and hearts and minds into helping predict hurricanes with data from our customers, or working to democratize health by working very closely with hospitals during COVID. Many of our grandmasters were working with Kaiser Permanente, working with Bon Secours, Mercy Hospital, or Hackensack to truly help them build nurse staffing models or reduce operational costs of doing healthcare. And that way, you can actually run a better, more efficient hospital that will truly improve care. Data science is ultimately the search for truth. And of all the truths, self-discovery is the greatest of them all. And I think we think that improving the human potential is at the heart of making AI even more powerful. I want to leave it at
In the midst of death, life persists. In the midst of untruth, truth persists. In the midst of darkness, light persists.